This is my personal experience, not medical advice. Please consult a qualified healthcare professional. Hello, this is Dave Escamilla with Rapid Regeneration. This video is about a water-only fast where I went 10 days without eating food and drinking only water. It's now been a little bit since I completed it. It's been about 9 days back on food. Prior to that, did 10 days and 11 nights on only water. I had this intuition a month or two ago that this was something that I wanted to do. It felt like my body wanted to do this. And so maybe you've had that feeling. Maybe you felt like, hey, you know what? This is something that I feel like I should do. My body's trying to tell me something. And maybe that's part of your journey. Maybe not. You know, water fasting is intense. It's not for everybody. It can be risky. Your blood pressure can drop. Your electrolytes can drop. You know, if I were someone else and I were thinking about doing it, I would strongly consider being medically supervised. I know that can be costly. Personally, I did it without medical supervision, but I also felt like I was at a point where I was more advanced and where I was and able to handle that. This was my second water fast. I did a 5-day water fast about 6 years ago, and this was the next one. You know, some of the benefits of water fasting, which has been used for tens of thousands of years. And of course, you have all of the spiritual and psychological and emotional kind of benefits that you get from quieting down all this noise where our lives revolve around food, and increased clarity, and not to mention the feeling of self-discipline and self-mastery that you experience when you go through this. So I experienced all these benefits and more. It was extremely fulfilling. It was challenging. But if you've thought about, I really don't think I could do it, I felt like that too. And you know what? Watching this experience, if you follow along this video, you're going to see what it was like. And actually, some parts were much easier than I thought, and I did get considerable momentum. So that's all. Make sure to like if you enjoy this video. Make sure to subscribe, and make sure to keep in touch with me at Rapid Regeneration, and keep in touch with me and enjoy the video. Today is the first day. It's the morning. It's a beautiful October morning here in Central Texas, and my goal is to fast somewhere between 5 and 10 days. Well, it's about 11:30 on day one, and this is hard because I'm hungry. My glucose levels already were depleted pretty much by the time I woke up, but right now my body is still going through the remaining glycogen in the liver, and those levels are low, and the levels are crashing, and the body hasn't yet switched over to burning fat and ketones for energy. And so this is kind of the nitty-gritty part. So this is why it's hard. Here we are, day number 2. It's now been about 36 hours since I've had any food. And I woke up today and, I feel good. I feel energized. My appetite is little to none. The first day was hard, and what I've heard and what I've experienced doing a 5-day water fast 6 years ago, is that the first day is one of the hardest, maybe the hardest, getting through that. Late afternoon was tough. Evening was tough. It's interesting because going back 6 years, my philosophy on it was try to empty my calendar, right? Have blank space so that I could just relax during the fast. And it's interesting. Now I don't actually think that's the best approach. I do think you want to avoid situations that are extremely taxing and strenuous and stressful. But it's actually good to have things that occupy your interest and your energy and your attention, because it passes the time more, gets your mind off of, hey, I'm not eating anything. So yesterday, there was plenty to do. I had activities to do, and it helped to pass the time. All right, late afternoon update. It is more difficult than I had thought, day number 2. I think part of it is the monotony of being in the house, so getting out, running an errand, getting out of the house, it's much better. But also day number 2, glycogen and glucose are still getting depleted. The body is still transitioning over to burning ketones for energy. So it's still hard. All right, update on day 3. It's now mid-afternoon on day 3. And the update is, wow, it's still hard. It is difficult. But what I noticed is that this morning I woke up and was decently lightheaded. Energy was low and, not feeling that great, not feeling very energetic. But, as the day's gone on, I actually feel much better. And so compared with this morning, I actually feel really good. No real appetite. Don't have quite as much energy or quite as much focus as I normally do. Remember, the brain is only 2% of your body weight, but it uses roughly 20% of your energy. And so things that are mentally intensive and mentally tasking, can be difficult. And I notice while fasting, that's more difficult. So, I play in a band. I'm a musician, and we have a show tonight. And so I'm getting ready to go leave and get ready for that. And so hopefully that goes well. All right, update on day 4, late afternoon, early evening on day 4. It's still hard, still difficult. Actually played the show last night without much difficulty. Today woke up just low energy, hard to focus, hard to get stuff done, and didn't really have anything on the calendar today. It's a Sunday, and I wonder if that's contributing to make it even more challenging, as opposed to having something that's demanding and pushing that I be somewhere and that I do something. That's almost easier. I also switched to distilled water today. I've been using spring water, mountain spring water, for the first 3 days and switched to distilled water. There's trade-offs to both. So maybe tomorrow I'll go back to spring water. Right at the end of day 4 is right around when, according to my research, the body really enters ketosis or starts to use ketosis more by day 5. So that transition should be pretty close to starting. I am down about 10 to 12 pounds in the first 4 days, which mainly is due to, glycogen depletion, which the body holds glycogen in the liver and connective tissues, muscle tissues, and as well as water retention, because the more glycogen you have in the body, the more water that there is. And so once the body gets finished going through that, it really starts to work on burning fat stores for energy. Hopefully that brings down the appetite as well, because I have been decently hungry today. So part of it too is maybe just learning to rest and relax a little more. So that's my plan for today. Haven't done too much productivity wise, but kind of embracing this phase of actually, maybe just relax and rest a little bit. All right, update. We are now in the late afternoon of day number 5. And last night at the evening of day 4, late last night, I caught a second wind, you could say. Suddenly, after just laying around all day and being pretty lethargic, I got energy and I started to I started to do stuff, which is kind of important because I tend to have a lot of stuff that needs doing. And so I started to crank out some production last night and get some stuff done. This morning, I woke up and I've had a lot more energy today. And I feel a lot better today. This is day 5. Now, I did switch back to spring water, which I think has helped. Drinking distilled water yesterday, all day of day 4, I just think it's tough. It's tough. You get less electrolyte, refilling electrolytes, and it's also more of an intense detox. So I'm back on the spring water. I will also add that I did do 2 enemas on day number 2 and day number 4. When I started doing water fasting, my bowel movements kind of stopped. But that made me think, I wonder if there's still stuff in there, right? Because it's normally on a delay, like up to 24 hours delay. And so the enemas really did help clear out the gut, more so on day 2 than day 4. And so I felt that was helpful. But, now I'm feeling good. I'm down about 14 pounds, which is quite a bit. But, end of day 4, day 5 is really when, according to my research, the body has really transitioned over to burning off of ketones mostly, right? And also you get things like autophagy, which is the body consuming damaged and weak and mutated cells, which is a great benefit of water fasting. You also get human growth hormone that really ramps up production starting around day 5, according to my research. And so, around day 5 is when a lot of these benefits start to ramp up and kick in a lot more. But it's also when the body gets more acclimated to running off of ketosis, burning fat for energy. All right, it is day number 6, and I am feeling pretty good. Not hungry. My energy is decent. It's a Tuesday, so I've been working decently and getting some stuff done. Still taking care of business, and I feel good. I do feel like the body is kind of remocking itself up and spending some energy on going through itself and cleaning house, so to speak. The only little thing is if I stand up real quickly, I do get a little bit lightheaded. Have to be a little bit careful with that. But other than that, day 6 going quite smoothly. Now, can I make it through 10 days? That's a big question, right? That's the goal. And I wonder, at some point, are you just doing it just to see if you can do it? So we'll see about that. All right. It is day number 7. And I feel good. It comes in waves. Yesterday my energy dipped. When sometimes you find yourself and you give in, you just start scrolling a little bit on your phone and you lose that fire to, be motivated and get stuff done. That happened to me a little bit yesterday, although I did rally. Yesterday I noticed that I felt my kidneys really, it felt like they were filtering. It felt like stuff was moving throughout the body towards the kidneys. That's what it felt like. And a little bit of this is maybe some icky stuff. That's what it felt like. I'm down about 16, 17 pounds. One other little phenomenon I'm going to mention here is that I feel like when doing this, I don't have much of an appetite at all. But I do notice that the experience of life seems to be a little more raw than normal, you know, just feeling things, responding to things, going through life, and you know, it can be tough. It can be tough. You know, having a full stomach, it can be like a blanket in a way. I'm trying to figure out if I'm describing this accurately. You know, just the emotional things that we have to deal with, and stress and tension and conflict, navigating conflict. It's just more raw. I just feel like I'm feeling everything more intensely. On the same note, I've noticed a trend, and I don't know if this is total coincidence or if this is synchronicity or why this is happening, but I've gotten better this last week about confrontation and calling people out, right? It's in our nature to be people pleasers and to be externally regulating all the time. We're, from a very young age, we're conditioned to please other people, right? To get what we want. So it's actually, and you know, we should get along with people, of course, but we need to stick up for ourselves. And sometimes it is appropriate to confront somebody, and that's hard. That's very difficult for people. And I have noticed I've been flexing that muscle more. I don't know if it's just because more situations have come up in this last week, which they have a few ones, right? But I'm leaning into that, and I don't know if this is helping or not, but it seems like I'm able to groove into that, which is an interesting kind of personal growth. So I think I'm going to make it all 10 days. I think I'm going to do it. But it's only day 7. There's still, and it's about midday. So there's still over 3.5 days to go. So I will report back. All right, it is day number 8. Day 7 went all right. Appetite, not really a problem. Still not really there. I did feel the intensity kind of starting to ramp up. I felt a lot of stuff happening, gurgling, in the gut area, the belly area. You know, my energy did kind of drop off a cliff yesterday by the time we hit early evening, and I just leaned into it, chilled out, watched a documentary rather, and just relaxed, right? And just went to bed. So now it's day number 8. You know, I did get a prescient insight this morning when I woke up and I was lying in my bed. And sometimes I sort of lie there before I start the day, and I kind of think like, all right, I reach out to my higher self or any spiritual guides or assistants that are out there, things that can help me. And I just think, you know, show me what to do, show me the way. And I will say I've been, I don't want to say disappointed, but yeah, a little disappointed. No, just, you know, a little surprised at the lack of kind of amazing insights I've been getting on this water fast. Because 6 years ago, when I did a water fast, or maybe longer, 7 years ago when I did a water fast, 5-day water fast, I got these insights. I had these visions about how I was going to transform my life and the path, and the next 10, 15 years, like unfolded in my imagination how it was going to go. And it showed me what to do. It laid out the path for me. And this was amazing. It was a very spiritual experience, very intense. And a lot of that's come true. And I've followed that path. This time, not so much. But I think part of that is because I've been so aligned. And, you know, since then, my lifestyle and everything, it's really been pretty clean. And I've really integrated a lot of that kind of insight and intuition, and I'm getting that more constantly. I think it was more of a shock to the system, more of a change then. So maybe that's why it hasn't been so much, but I did get one this morning. I got a little golden nugget that showed me exactly what I needed to do. And I was very grateful for that. So it's day 8. I still think I can make it through day 10. We'll see. Okay. But that's it. I'll check back. All right, it is day number 9. And this morning I woke up and started to be graphic, but I had a bowel movement, which didn't, otherwise it's not happened except for day number 2 and 4, you know, when I did those enemas. And I gotta say, like, what came out was, it was bizarre and foul, kind of rubbery. It reminded me of when I did extended gut cleansing with Zen Cleanse, which is, you can see I've done another video about that. But yeah, I was very pleased with that came out. I'm now at the store. I'm picking up a few treats at the Asian market. Getting ready to get back into food, I guess. We'll see if I can make it all the way through day 10. And then on day 11, you know, come back and eat some food. So, I'm feeling good overall. Really good. I'm down about 19 pounds. A lot of water weight has been lost. And probably some fat too. Hopefully not too much muscle, amino acid. Feeling good. Still taking care of business. It's Friday afternoon, so I timed this so that the last 2 days would be like right when the weekend's happening, so that it wouldn't be too stressful. So I'll keep you posted. I'll let you know what's going on. Hopefully I can make it through. Well, here we are. It's day 10. I think I'm gonna make it all the way. You know, yesterday, day 9, I really started to want some food. And that's continuing into today. So I am very excited to eat some food tomorrow. God willing, if I can make it to tomorrow. You know, one thing I've really noticed in the last couple days, maybe starting around day 8, is my kidneys, really feeling the sensation of my kidneys filtering out the lymphatic system. Feeling things moving in the body up and down and towards the kidneys. You know, one of the big challenges I think for me is that normally I like to get stuff done, and I like to be producing, and I like to be completing tasks. That makes me feel good. It makes me feel like I'm moving forwards towards my goals. And you know, these last 10 days, it's been tough. It's been tough because my energy has not been like it normally is. And I've been drifting some and just kind of like being still and non-productive. And that's tough for me. Maybe it's tough for you too if you were thinking about doing something like this. But you know, sometimes you have to take a step back to take 2 steps ahead. And my hope is that doing this 10-day water fast is going to put me in a position when I go back to a more energizing diet, more fueling lifestyle, that I'll get even more done, that I'll be able to accomplish even more because I'll feel better, I'll be sharper, clearer, more energetic, etc. And the hope is not just to have these great benefits during the fast, right? The kidneys, for example, filtering more. But actually the hope is that that continues, and that this is activating something in the body that's going to continue beyond just the fast. So I'll check back in tomorrow, assuming I can make it all the way till then. when it's time to eat again. All right, here we are. It's day 11. It's been 10 days and 11 nights with no food. Made it through yesterday nicely. And wow, what a great feeling it was this morning when I woke up. Felt like Christmas as a little kid, you know. And I'm gonna have my first meal after this walk. Just taking one last walk here. Separate thing I want to mention is I'm doing this other protocol, harmful organism cleansing and parasite cleansing protocol, starting today. So this was always a two-part operation in my mind, and this intuition came to me that this is what my body was asking for, that maybe I need to do some of that parasite cleansing, but also the water fasting, kind of a 1-2 punch for different reasons, right? But I'll do a separate video about that, and I could share my experience with you about that once that's complete. I'm down about 22 pounds in 10 days. A little scary. That's about 2.2 pounds per day lost. But, you know, looking at myself in the mirror, it doesn't look like much, if at all, muscle mass is gone. So I think that should bounce back relatively quick once the glycogen comes back on, the water retention and so forth. So anyways, let's see what is going to be the first meal. All right, so all this week I was fantasizing about some mango that I had ripening in the pantry. But you know what? I had this thought, this feeling that, you know what? I picked up some dragon fruit. And you know what? I'm feeling like some dragon fruit. So, but I don't know if it's going to be that good. So let's try it. Really nice. Really nice. Yeah, I think maybe my taste buds are extra activated. I don't really know. But eating food feels really nicely. It is recommended when you break a fast. It seems like fruit is really the ideal food. So I got plenty of fruit in the pantry, in the fridge. And just going to ease back into solid foods. So maybe I'll check in one more time just to do kind of like a recap and final thoughts after getting back into food. But today's a very exciting day, day 11. Excited to eat some food, some delicious fruit, and get some energy from carbohydrates instead of ketosis. All right, cheers. All right, this is day what would have been 15. So in other words, this is the 5th day back on food, and I must say it feels very good. Just wanted to check in with one last closing remarks here. You know, one thing I noticed was a much expanded feeling of the body actually assimilating food. So I never quite noticed this very much before, but now it feels like when I eat a meal, I can literally feel the circulation running through the body, the bloodstream delivering that fuel throughout the body. It's kind of neat. If you recall, I was down a max of about 20 pounds after 10 days. And I'm now back up about 10 pounds. So still another 10 pounds to go to get back to my regular weight of about 165. So it was a little dramatic there. Muscle mass seems to have remained mostly. And so I feel a lot more focused, by a lot, and realized just how much I was drifting around and not really having the energy and the focus that I normally do. So it feels really good. I'm glad I did it. You know, everyone's in this for their own reasons. And so just want to wish you good luck, you know, on your journey as you figure out your path forwards. And I hope that you found this helpful in some way. I hope that this can help inspire you or give you an insight into my own journey and be helpful in some way. So I wish you the best, and bye for now.